Commentary chaos with Dana and Steve, coming to your living room and driving you insane. We will laugh, likely losing the fabric of normal behavior, shedding tears not of sadness, but of sadness. You may call us children, but we need this release. Watching movies and speaking nonsense. It's entertainment for the easily stressed and amused. Sit down with us. No, not that close, my friend. Listen as we talk about the lighter side of life and the movies. God bless the
And above all, don't forget to watch Evil Dead Chicks Top 10.
Howdy, gang, and welcome to yet another Evil Dead Chicks Top 10. And hey, the poet, hey, Hope. And before we get into it, of course, I always like to tell everybody that these are in no particular order. So I'm not doing, a countdown from like 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, or 10 to 1 with 1 being the highest. These are just 10 of my favorite zombie related films, and you may agree with me on some, may disagree with me on some. I see Hope has thrown a couple of them in the chat here, and the poet is mentioned When There's No More Room in Hell, the dead shall walk the earth, which is actually a tagline from one of my favorite zombie films. So, and actually, Shaun the Dead is going to be on my list too, Hope. So, cool. I never heard of the co-ed and the zombie stoner. Maybe I need to try watching that one, Hope. But as always, I want to get some stuff, some housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then we'll get to these movies. So, what have we got coming up for the rest of the week? So, tomorrow night, hopefully starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be talking about some horror movies from 82 and 83 that you could use as sleeping pills, in my opinion, for another edition of Insomnia Cure. Thursday, again, hopefully starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, will be They're All Messed Up. I will be talking about Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary, and Strip Nude for Your Killer, and the kills in each one of the films, because, yeah, that's what we discuss on They're All Messed Up. Friday will be another Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest. I'm cutting them down to one movie because it seemed like people were not really interested in staying for a second movie or staying for 3 hours plus. So I've cut it down to one. We'll see how things go. If there's a clamoring for me to go back to the double features, I will. But offerings will be the film for Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest for Friday, December 5th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, this Saturday, we have another watch-along weekend. Saturday's watch-along film chosen by poll and chosen unanimously at 100% of the votes were for Black Christmas from 1974, and that's Saturday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have a rescheduled Cannibal Holocaust watch-along that will take place after the first of the year, January 3rd, 2026, also starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. There's also another poll up for the next time I do a watch-along. And it's tied between Don't Open Till Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And then in third place is, or actually, I guess in second place is Pranks, aka The Dorm That Dripped Blood. So make sure you get in there and get your votes in so you can help me break this tiebreak or do a tiebreaker, so that I don't have to flip a coin. Y'all don't want me to do that, do you? So the other thing I want to remind everybody about is there are several different ways that you can support me in the channel, and it won't cost you a dime. One of those ways is by subscribing. There's never a bad time to subscribe to either my channel or anybody else's channel that you're enjoying their content that they're putting out. And once you subscribe, you can hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new I can't talk, new content I've got coming out. Shaun the Dead is a classic. And it's one of your and DePote, you say it's one of your favorites. Hope, is the co-ed and the zombie stoner the favorite zombie movie of all time, or Shaun the Dead? But you can also hit the like button on things that you particularly enjoyed. And if you liked everything, hey, hit that like button all across the board, folks. And here's one more way that you can support me in the channel. It won't cost you a dime, won't cost anybody you tell about the channel a dime. And that's by cannot talk tonight. By sharing my channel name with friends and family members that you might enjoy, you think might enjoy the content that I'm putting out. I think I'm trying to talk too fast. And as always, I will do y'all a solid and put my channel name, channel handle in there, which is also the channel handle or screen name that I use for these streams. All righty. So let's get down to it here. Again, these are in no particular order, folks. But I am a huge George Romero fan, so I'm going to have to pick the Unholy Trilogy of zombie films for me. These are, my all time favorites. Now, George Romero, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us. I got to meet him. Fortunately, I got to meet him several years before he passed away. It was one of my dreams. George Romero was on my bucket list, so I was glad that I got to meet him. Now, I will say though that the zombie films that he made in later years were not nearly as good, in my opinion, as his early zombie films. And these, of course, included the original Night of the Living Dead, a black and white classic, folks. I love the original Night of the Living Dead as much as I love the original Psycho, folks. They are two great classic black and white horror films. And, you know, this movie was made in a time where women were seen to be a little bit weaker. They took a back seat to the men, and some people, modern men and women may look at this, especially modern women, and say, this is a terrible movie and it doesn't represent women very well. But you got to think about the time in which Night of the Living Dead, late 60s, that it was put out, So that was before the big shift and women's movement and all that. But I still find this a fantastic zombie film, and one that I, keep going back to over and over and over again, time and time again. And the things that make this great for me are the claustrophobic sense of, where can I go? Where can I escape? These people come upon this farmhouse, and they find out there are other people hiding down in the basement, and a struggle begins with a couple of the characters over, well, you stay up here if you want to, but you can't come down here. If these things break in, then you're not going to come down here with us. You just stay up there where you're at. And truly, those two characters never come to a consensus on working together or anything. There's the struggle between two opposing entities, that even though I like the Ben character better than Mr. Cooper, they both basically want to be boss, and they clash. And I think that is what ultimately leads to a lot of the people's demises, because they cannot come together as a cohesive group long enough to think of a plan that's really going to work for them, right? But I still love Night of the Living Dead. It is dreary, it is claustrophobic, but it's also atmospheric. And I think that with very little money, George Romero was able to do something that not many other filmmakers could do, with the amount of money that he had. So that's Night of the Living Dead. Dawn of the Dead. A lot of people, tend to like Dawn of the Dead, but they don't much care for Night of the Living Dead. And they might like Dawn of the Dead, and the next one I'm going to talk about, Day of the Dead, equally, or maybe they like Dawn of the Dead a little bit more. I tend to like Dawn of the Dead a little bit more than Day of the Dead, but now, like Steve, he'll watch Dawn of the Dead and he'll watch Day of the Dead, but he's not a fan of Night of the Living Dead. And I'm like, I just don't see how that's a thing, but whatever. But Dawn of the Dead, is basically zombies versus consumers, or zombies versus consumerism. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to sit down and watch the original Dawn of the Dead, to understand what I'm talking about, because a group of survivors, uh, apparently, after the zombie apocalypse, zombie onslaught, whatever you want to call it, hold themselves up in a mall of all places. And the zombies converge upon the mall as well, because there's some part of their cerebral cortex that, even though they're a zombie and even though they're back from the dead and all of that, they still have this compulsion to come back to a place where people went shopping, where people met up with each other at food courts, etc., etc. And so it says a lot about consumerism. And, you know, sometimes I think that, when we're all bleary eyed and going shopping like early in the morning, or maybe, this is timely, Black Friday or whatever, we do tend to act like zombies, don't we? So I think this all ties together. But I think out of the three of the original trilogy, Dawn of the Dead is my favorite. Um, I love the kind of slapstick comedic stuff that's added to it, as well as the horror, as well as the gore and all that stuff. I think this one was very well made because it had all those elements in it, and George Romero really knew what to do with those, whenever he was making Dawn of the Dead. And so, like I said, out of the three of the original trilogy, Dawn of the Dead will always be my favorite of those. Doesn't mean I don't like the others, but that one is my favorite of the original three. Which brings me to Day of the Dead, which has, a military element added in. Not a very nice military element, and you have some scientists. So you kind of have a mix and match group of people brought together, some not willingly, I don't think. But we've got Bub here too, which Bub is the most intelligent of the zombies that I've seen in a Romero film. Bub knows about music. Bub knows how to use weapons, etc., etc. So this is probably, for me, the last great Dead film that Romero did. Now, some people may disagree with me on that, and that is okay. I think it perfectly encapsulates the mid 1980s, like 1985. And I think it was a great way to bookend that original trilogy. And had we not had that other stuff, I would have been just fine without it. George Romero did some other, non-dead films that were great as well. One of them being The Dark Half. I love The Dark Half. Some people may not. So it wasn't just the zombie films that I enjoyed, which this is going to kind of carry over, because this is one of my favorite remakes of all time, and I think it was done really, really well. And that is Tom Savini's updated version of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. And what can I say about this other than it's just fantastic? It was a great way to update the film for more modern audiences, 1990 audiences. It was, of course, all color. There's a lot more gore. They updated the woman role, and of Barbara, and she becomes like, at certain points in time, she becomes more of a badass, which I think fits 1990, right? As opposed to late 60s. So if you would like to do a comparison between George Romero's Night of the Living Dead and what Tom Savini did with the updated version in 1990, I think that would be a great little experiment or research assignment or whatever you want to call it. So moving along to, I'm going to save the ones that I was too lazy to pull out visuals for, or ones that I don't have visuals for, here in just a second. But there's 3 more that I do have visuals for. And one of these is Return of the Living Dead. This is absolute fun. A absolutely fun zombie movie. Is it a little bit scary? Is it gory? Oh yeah. Yeah. But the fun aspect that Dan O'Bannon injected into the zombies, the zombie film, just makes it that much more entertaining to watch. And like I've always said before, whenever I get pissed off at where I live or pissed off with people where I live, I can turn to Return of the Living Dead, where it's obviously not Louisville, Kentucky. It's obviously in California somewhere, but it's when they blow up the city at the end or nuke the city, it's Louisville, Kentucky. So if I'm feeling really pissed off where I live now, hey, this is the movie to watch, because at the end I can say, aha, suckers, you just got nuked. The Poet, you say, Return of the Living Dead is in your top 10. Yeah, I would imagine it's in a lot of people's top 10. And I think part of that reason is because it does have that humor element in it. And even when things get a little scarier towards the end of the film, it still makes me chuckle here and there. And it's gory too. I mean, and I love the Tar Man. I love Tar Man. When he comes up out of that barrel and brains, I just can't help but I love Tar Man. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is entertainment, zombie entertainment, at its best here. And, for you guys that want to see a little, Linnea Quigley action, you can get to see it in here as she plays Trash, one of the punks, and she likes dancing on gravestones naked. So if you want to check that out, you can, Return of the Living Dead has that also. So moving right along to, because guys and gals, I don't intend these to be, super long or anything. But Zombie or Zombie Flesh Eaters, directed by Lucio Fulci. Yeah, Lucio Fulci did a lot of fun movies, but I think this is almost the ultimate Italian zombie film. Because, we had George Romero here in the States. Well, what did Fulci do? He kind of come along and turned the zombie genre on its, or zombie subgenre on its ear, because he went to places that I felt like nobody else dared to go to at that time, especially at that time. Nowadays, yeah, they go further. But Lucio Fulci was a guy that he didn't care what anybody thought of his films. If they liked them, groovy. If they didn't, I think a lot of times Fulci made movies for himself. And if other people liked them, if people went to watch them, that was fantastic. But he wasn't going to lose any sleep. He wasn't going to cry himself to sleep if somebody didn't like it. So I don't think that Fulci ever put any limits on himself. He didn't restrain himself. And he definitely didn't do so with Zombie. So if you've never seen Zombie, I highly recommend that you find a for free copy if possible. I'm not asking anybody to go out and buy these if you don't already own them, but definitely try to find a for free version and watch some of these, especially if there's some that you have not seen before. Which then brings me to Night of the Creeps, which is another, it's got scary moments in it, but it also has some comedic moments in it as well. And some badass action in it from college students. And what else can we say about this? But Tom Atkins is in this film with another one of his badass roles. And he gets the line, says, I've got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. And so, you know, you got a lot of fun things to enjoy in Night of the Creeps. Yeah, Night of the Creeps is definitely a good one, Hope. And in fact, in my opinion, a great one. So, you know, again, Night of the Creeps is one that I would highly recommend. If you can find a for free version, if you don't already own it, hey, check this one out. Which brings me to the last three for the night. Like I said, the ones I was too lazy to go and get a physical copy for or didn't have a copy of. Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead was at that time one of the most fun and entertaining times I had watching a movie. And it's been a while since I've watched Shaun of the Dead, but I would love to go back and watch it again. And I think that Steve has it on Blu-ray, but I could not find it before I got on here. Shaun of the Dead, to me, is what happens to regular people, like regular, everyday, like office people or IT people or whatever, or the guy that's your roommate that sleeps on the couch every night or the fold-out couch or whatever. This is what happens to those people when they're faced with zombies, and I think that's why so many people like it, because it's more like regular people facing zombies, in my opinion. It's not a military element. It's not scientists. You know, it's just regular, you know, they go their 9 to 5 jobs and they come home and all of a sudden these zombies are here ready to, you know, chew them up and spit them out. And I think also because it has that British humor. I think that's the other reason that people enjoy this so much. Shaun of the Dead is great. Needs a sequel? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could definitely do a commentary for Shaun of the Dead in the future. I would love to do one. And me and Hope, we love doing commentaries and or watch-alongs for things. So yes, I'm going to put that on my calendar at some point for us to do that. The thing about Hot Fuzz is I would like to watch all of it, Hope, but I haven't gotten around to it. I think Steve has that one too, and I think he was watching it, and I saw parts of it, but I can't really, you know, I'm sure I would like it if I sat down and watched it all. Terrifier 3 was fun. It was fun. The poet says he votes yes for a commentary on it, which will bring me to the next one. And some people may not consider some of these zombie films, and that's okay. But Planet Terror, part of the Grindhouse double feature, I have so much fun with Planet Terror. Um, it has funny parts in it, has gory parts, it has scary parts. Um, it has sadistic parts in it. It's just probably one of those films would be a equal opportunity offender. But it's also a fun film, and I really, really enjoy what Robert Rodriguez did with Planet Terror. And I also love Death Proof that Quentin Tarantino did, but um, I really don't consider Death Proof a zombie film in any way, shape, or form. Um, I hope you say which we got more with Grindhouse. Yeah, yeah. I think this was a popular thing that was done, and I don't know why they haven't like tried to do another one of these with a double feature, because I think that would just be awesome to put out in theaters. Because I didn't get to see the original Grindhouse in theaters. I had to wait, unfortunately, until it came out on disc. Oh goodness. And I tried to get my mom to watch it, but my mom wasn't really into it. I don't think she really got the concept. Um, but what do you get with Planet Terror is you have this virus that's spreading, turning people into goopy, I guess goopy zombies. They look like melting zombies. Plus, you've got a variety of other colorful characters, um, including Cherry there, played by Rose McGowan, who ends up getting her leg cut off and has a machine gun put on there, which I just think is so badass. Um, Hope you say my mom likes scary movies. I remember the first horror movie I ever watched when I was a baby, from what she told me was Scream. See, there's that generational thing. It's like that came out in 96, and Hope's talking about when she was a baby. I feel so old. I feel so old. Okay. So the last one I want to talk about, I struggled with putting this on my top 10 because even though it's very gory and I think it's a fantastic Asian zombie movie, some of you may know what I'm going to talk about here, but the ending is so desolate and hopeless that I almost want to watch it until almost the very end and then shut it off, because it's not a terrible zombie film. It's just the you were born in 95. Man, I was in 95, Hope. I was a year out of high school. Wow. Oh, man, I feel old. Um, but like I was saying, the ending to this movie I'm just about to um, talk about is so desolate and so hopeless at the end that I just fall apart towards the end. And the little girl at the end, that's what kills me at the end of this. Um, which one are you asking about? Is it streaming, Hope? The one I'm getting ready to talk about? Because I'm not really sure. I'd probably have to look that up. And your husband, David, was born in 1990, Hope? Well, y'all got what, 5 years between you? Then David is 5 years older. But the movie I want to talk about is Train to Busan, um, Planet Terror, I'm not sure if it's streaming or not, Hope. I'd have to look that up. A Train to Busan, I don't know how many of you guys and gals have seen this. But it is a fantastic, more modern zombie film, in my opinion. And the Asians know how to do this hardcore violence right. But the little girl you see in the poster there being held by her father. Just a warning, folks, even though this is a fantastic zombie film, if you watch this, be prepared to be, dabbing at your eyes with tissues by the end of this film. You need to watch more Japanese horror. Yeah, Japanese horror was something I didn't know about for a long time until Ring or Ringu, I guess you would call it. And then that kind of kick-started my love of Japanese horror from then on out. You like Ring, the US one? I like that one too, but my first love has to go to the Japanese version. But Train to Busan is basically a very violent zombie apocalypse takes place as a father and his daughter are boarding a train. And most of the action takes place on the train that is featured in the movie. But if you really want to see a balls to the wall, gut-wrenching zombie movie that's modern, Train to Busan fits the bill. But just beware towards the end. Hey, Gory Tiger. So I guess that is it from me for tonight. And I was glad to see Gory Tiger in here, and Hope and the Poet. I want to say it's dubbed, Hope, but don't hold me to that, okay? Because maybe I read subtitles and I forgot. But I enjoyed seeing all of you guys and gals in here. If you didn't feel comfortable, see you later, Gory Tiger. If you didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat, but you were watching along as I was discussing these movies, I want to thank you as well. And for those of you that didn't get to come in here live, but will watch this on the replay, or didn't get in here in time to hear me talk about most of the movies, hey, you can watch it on the replay. But I thank all of you that will watch it on the replay as well. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. It is always fun chatting. I love chatting with you and all the rest of the people in here, Hope. Hey, Phil. There's my buddy Phil. He's waving. But I want to thank Phil for coming in as well, too. But I also want to share a special message that I always like to share with everybody at the end of my streams around the holiday season, which is usually Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you've had some disagreements or had a falling out with a friend or family member, now is the time to try to reach back out to them. And if you're angry at somebody and you haven't really wanted them to contact you, please consider reaching out to that person and working things out. Because as my good friend Candace always says, we're never promised a tomorrow. Nobody is. And I would not want someone to regret that they did not try to reconnect with somebody that they had a falling out with. So, and I'm not just saying this for myself, I'm saying this for everybody out there. that has ran into this, whether you're on the receiving end or the giving end of the anger and resentment. It warrants thinking about, folks. It really, really does. And also, if you love Aussie as much as I do, get out there, blast some Aussie, and try your best to live the Aussie way. And what do I mean by that? Don't stay stuck in the past, folks. Move forward from the present into the future. But remember, don't worry about the future. And don't ever, ever give up on your dreams. I love each and every one of you guys and gals out there. And you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time. You ran into it 10 times with your friend Tom, Hope? Yeah, that sometimes that happens too. But I'm out of here. I'll see y'all next time.